prepping and Q&A for the no spend challenge. This is what we're going to talk about today and get you ready to dive into 30 or 31, depending which month you're going to do it in, 30 or 31 days of no spending. Now, I have a whole outline if you would rather read through it. I'll link it below. It's a blog post on how the challenge works, what you do, what to expect, how to navigate it, and the difference between what is a non-negotiable necessity and just an impulse or a want. Okay, so you can go ahead and check out that post. But first, I want to talk about prepping. So it's going to take a little bit of prep work to get yourself ready to go into the challenge. As with anything and as with changing any behavior or habit, it's going to take intentional habit. So you want to make sure that you maybe have a cupboard full of groceries, right? You want to make sure you have a cupboard full of groceries because maybe you're someone who often hits up drive-through. And as you know, that's going to be a red day. You're going to color your token red if you hit up drive-through or coffee during the no spend challenge because it's not a necessity. Food's a necessity, but we're trying to help you uncover any additional expenses, so you're going to want to try to make your lunches at home. Now, this no spend challenge is not here to limit you. You still can live your life, and that's what's great about this challenge. Maybe you're going to choose to do a coffee run once a week, or maybe you're going to choose to do drive-through once a week, right? Opposed to daily, because you're still going to save money doing it this way. But we really want to address any leaks in your bank account. So I would suggest to pack your lunches, make coffee at home, make any little changes that you can, take out any conveniences, which are stopping at drive-through, rushing out in the morning, not having time to make your coffee, because ultimately what you want to discover is how much money you have left in your bank account when you put a little bit more time in and you're not either spending out of convenience or impulse buying, okay? So there is a little bit of prep work before starting your challenge to make sure that your cupboard's ready and that you have food to make for your lunch, right? Now, other than that, there isn't much prep that you will need to do. You'll just want to make sure that you know the differences between what is a non-negotiable and what is a want. Now, this is going to be totally different, and this is what you're going to have to individually look at in your circumstances, because there are probably things in your life, luxuries, that you like to enjoy that you may consider a necessity, like getting your lashes done. Maybe getting your lashes done is a non-negotiable. So for one person, that may be a non-negotiable. That's part of my budget. That is going to be a green day. When I go get my lashes done, that is a non-negotiable, and that's okay. However, there may be someone else who considers that I would rather have that extra $50 every other week in my bank account to see how much I can bulk my bank account when I'm addressing this spending that maybe I don't need, but it's a luxury and I like to have it. So that is completely up to you on how you want to tailor your no spend month, but I would advise you to look in and really get your priorities straight. So however that looks like for you. This is different for all of us, and there's going to be no two of us that are completely alike. Maybe you have a priority to create a buffer in your bank account or pay down debt. So you're going to have to, with yourself, discuss if getting your lashes or your hair or whatever it may be, a luxury that you like to do each month, going out to restaurants regularly, whatever it may be, it's up to you to analyze that and see if you're going to cut it for the month to see how much money you can save, or if that's a non-negotiable and it's going on as a non-negotiable, okay? So that is totally up to you. I am going to challenge you, though, to dig deeper and see if you really do need that and to ask yourself what's more important, okay? So other than that, there's not much more prepping. I do want to touch on a bit on some Q&As because I've had some questions from you guys. And this is what the great thing is about the challenge. The challenge isn't here to cut everything from your life. So it's not like a diet. Well, it is kind of. It's like you're going through a cleanse. Like when you're going to cleanse your body, you're cutting out junk food, and you're cutting out things that make you feel tired, and you're cutting out sugar, and you're cutting out all these things to do a full body cleanse. And then when you're through the cleanse, you know how much better you feel, and it's easier to continue those habits that you established during the cleanse. So this is kind of like a cleanse, although you don't need to get sticky on cutting things out if that's not your priority. Again, it comes down to individually what your priority is and what your goals are. And if you check out the blog, I think it has 5 questions to ask yourself on why you're doing the challenge. And each question, I peel back a layer to get you down to the root cause of why you want to join it. And from there, you're going to uncover your priorities. So what I'm getting at is you're not coming in and like cutting everything. So, for example, some of you guys have plans for the next month. You have coffee dates planned. One of you had a girls' getaway weekend. Another, you have a weekend away at a hotel for your kids' hockey. So does it mean that you have to say no and cut all those out and say, no, I can't do the coffee dates. I can't do girls' weekend. I can't go to the hockey tournament because I'm doing a no-spend challenge? Absolutely not. Life is meant to be lived. And the main motive of this challenge is just to help you uncover any money leaks. So what you're going to do, if you have plans for the month that you choose to do your no-spend challenge in, you're just going to allocate it. You're going to budget for it. You're going to write it into your necessity list. So maybe a week into the month, you have a coffee date planned with some friends, or maybe you have 2 of them planned. And I'm going to spend, let's just say $50, okay? And you're going to allocate that, and that is totally fine. Or maybe you have a girls' weekend away and you're going to pay for accommodations, gas to get there, and food to eat. Excellent. Same with the hockey getaway. You're going to pay for accommodations, food, gas. Amazing. Those are all going to be able to be colored green days because you've allocated for that. You've budgeted for it. You're not impulsing. You're not just off a whim doing that. Okay? And you can still do things off the whim. Just plan it into your budget. Where I'm going to tell you that you should draw red to reflect on is when you go out for the coffee date and you decide that after the coffee date, you start window shopping. You decide you're going to browse some stores. So you go into a few stores and you buy a few things at each store, and then you decide that you need gas on the way home, so you stop at the gas station, you fill your car up, which is a non-negotiable, so that is totally fine. But when you go inside the store, you decide that you want to get a soft drink, a chocolate bar, some chips, and some gum, and some candy, and you have that extra expense. That was not allocated for, and that would count as coloring your dot. If you don't know what I'm referring to, just check for the graphic below. Coloring your dot red, meaning you did some overspending. Not overspending, but you did spending that wasn't allocated for during the challenge. And then when that happens, it's no big deal. You're not to beat yourself up. This is all a learning process because you're going to reflect on it at the end of the month. So that's fine. But what you're going to do is you're going to write down by that dot above it or on a different page how much you spent. How much extra did you spend? How much extra did you spend on that kind of impulse last minute shopping? How much did you spend on the stuff at the gas station? How much did you spend extra on drinks that you didn't allocate? And you're going to write that down so that you can reflect on that at the end of the month. For the one that has the weekend getaway, same thing. You've allocated all your expenses. However, if you go off and you decide to, maybe you set aside $100 to do a little bit of shopping when you're going, wherever you're going, but you do $500 in shopping, you're going to have to draw a red on your dot and write down how much extra that you spent. So that's how the challenge works. So it doesn't mean that you have to cut everything out. It just means that we want to see where your money leaks are, or you want to see where your money leaks are, right? Same goes for, this is something I'm going to have to work on. We get takeout every Friday night. It just every Friday we get takeout, and it's usually about $50 to $70 every week, right? So what I'm going to work on during my no spend month is maybe we'll just do it once a month, right? So these are some things that I want to get your mind spinning on, not having to cut everything out, but maybe cutting back, or maybe spending less, maybe doing something fun. Instead of ordering out on a Friday night, maybe we'll make pizza together. So all these different fun ideas, right? It's not about cutting out, it's about being intentional and getting to know where your money's going, okay? So that is how that works. Some other questions and answers is, how often do I do this challenge? Well, however often you want. If you find your money is getting out of hand, or you're getting tight in the bank account, or your credit card's starting to grow again, maybe you want to do another no month spend to address the leaks. Track it to address where your money's going, why it's going, right? You can really do it however often you want. Really, it's an easy challenge to do. Well, not easy to do maybe, but it's a simple concept, right? It's a simple concept. Non-negotiables, things you need to survive. Luxuries and wants, things that you don't need to survive, but buy a lot of or regularly indulge in, okay? So that's all I've got for you guys tonight. Tomorrow's April 1st, so we will start then. And yeah, I probably encourage you to sit down before we officially dive in and just address your priorities and see what you want to keep for the month and allocate, and what can go. And it just depends. It depends on what you're looking to achieve out of this. If you're looking to see how much you can cut back on luxuries, to see how much wiggle room it gives you in your account, or maybe you want to plunk a bunch down on debt, so you're going to really go all in on the challenge and cut any items that are not necessities just for 1 month to see how much you can get down on that debt and save. It's going to be different for everybody, but it's going to be so good, and I anticipate you guys are going to come out of this challenge with a ton of aha moments and a ton of knowledge, knowing where your money's going and how to move forward to at least a certain degree when it comes to money and emotions. So I'm so excited to do this with you guys, and let's get ready.